What's up, guys? This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Financial stress isn't just about money. It tends to affect everything else too. Your mood, your sleep, your relationships. At the start of 2026, about 88% of Americans were dealing with some level of financial stress, and it's one of the biggest sources of tension for couples. So if that's something that you felt, you're definitely not alone, and it's not a personal failure. A lot of the time, it just means you're carrying more than you should have to on your own. For me, I'll be honest, it usually just shows up as like a low-level, constant thing in the background. Not always overwhelming, but always kind of there. Just thinking about expenses, future plans, or whether you're actually doing things right. And that stress, it builds over time. Therapy isn't about just getting advice on what to do with your money. It's about dealing with the stress that comes with it. The anxiety, the pressure, the expectations. Having a space to work through that can make it feel a lot more manageable. BetterHelp's make getting started pretty straightforward. You will fill out a short questionnaire and they will match you with a licensed therapist based on your needs. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time. They have over 30,000 therapists that have helped over 6 million people globally, with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 from over 1.7 million reviews. When life feels overwhelming, therapy can help. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/rush. That's betterhelp.com/rush. Back to the show.
Let's roll. I ain't the driver, the one in the back. Feeling like Crosby, I'm turned to the max. Yeah, you with, he ain't talking about nothing. Ain't ballin', babe, he can't afford a bag. These little broke ass right in the past. I come with more than half. I need my sack, rush it. You owe me racks, rush it. Dress all black, rush it. So many hits, thought I had concussion. I need my sack, rush it. You owe me racks, rush it. Dress all black, rush it. So many hits, thought I had concussion. Buckets. Let's roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Rush. It is your boy, Maxx Crosby, in the building. I got my brothers with me, Brogan Roback, Darian Terrell. We are back live in the flesh. We appreciate everyone tuning in. And this week was a big week, bro. There was a lot of shit, a lot of things to cover. NFL draft, obviously. Us, obviously, got the number one pick. We got our quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. Big shout out to Indiana and the whole squad over there, Kirk Signetti, the whole, Indiana fan base in general. I know they're fired up.
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban. A lot of people. But ultimately, we got Fernando. I think it was, one of the worst kept secrets in sports. I don't think it was by surprise, but I know everybody's fired up that he's a part of our team now. And, I had the chance to have a great conversation with him. When he came on his visit, I got to chop it up with him a little bit. And then draft night, got to get on FaceTime and talk to him. And we've been texting back and forth, ever since then. So I'm really fired up for him, excited to, take him under my wing and, help him out, show him the way. And just be him, just encourage him to be himself and just and lead in his own way. So fired up for him and his family. I know is a big moment. Getting drafted is an incredible experience. And big shout out to everybody else getting drafted. We have so many picks in this draft. A lot of guys, a lot of talent. We got a lot of DBs. We got another running back to complement Ashton. We got a new interior lineman, considered one of the better interior linemen in the draft from A&M. We got a lot of guys, a lot of speed, a lot of talent. And, like I said to all of them, I've got the chance to talk to all of them, get on the phone with each and every one of them. And, just the excitement and seeing those guys with their families and just being so fired up, it just takes you back. You know what I mean? It's crazy how time flies, but 8 years later, I'm going into my 8th season, and it seems like yesterday I was getting drafted and getting that call from, that 510 number from John Gruden. And, just being able to kind of, live through their, live through them a little bit, again, and, be able to give them some words of encouragement is always really cool. And, so I'm super fired up about all the guys coming in. Going to have a lot of new teammates, and, I know they're coming in ready to work. So it's going to be an incredible experience, but overall, great weekend. Brogan is in town, Miles, Mila, crew. We had a lot of people in, and we just the vibes were high. We had a nice little draft party as well. Had all the guys at the house. Some great food and stogies and the whole nine, and a lot of competitive matches and horse, and it was incredible. So
who won?
Yeah, vibes were high.
I see a smirk on the face. Who won?
Listen, here, let someone else speak from the outside in because he'll get
I
carried
don't, I don't
away.
even have to say it. You know who's the horse champion. I mean,
Max
No,
did
no,
win.
no.
Max did win horse on the record of he won 7 games. I won 2. Miles won 2. Right? That was all in one night. By the way, that's a lot of ball
A lot of
in
horse.
one night of just
and,
horse.
hey, don't forget my 2-0 when the guys were here too. You were in those
Correct.
games.
Yeah.
So that's
and then
technically
Max's
9.
teammates. True.
Damn.
But I will say this, D. Hold on. This is why you're seeing the boys smiling like it's fucking Christmas Day over here.
Oh my God.
Maxi Pad and his boy Jack Betts, they wanted to do a little around the world against Miles and I. We let him get the first one, or John. Max wasn't John, though. Hey, Jack was putting his hand up while I'm shooting and around the world, he's trying to get in there. Back-to-back champs right here, Miles and myself. We took him down, so it just felt good to really just stick it to him in a massively paused way. But it was
huge paused way.
Yes,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, it felt good to get a little redemption. Just to show the guys that we still got it, really. It felt good because
You're just a spot up shooter. You're a spot up shooter. You're not a one leg floater bullshit kind of guy. Or hopefully he didn't kill you on the free throw line. Because
I will tell you this, Max. If you want to play Max and you want to shoot European type shots, Jokic,
weird shit.
Sangoon, aka Tomislav. If you want to shoot the ball like that, then fucking play with Max. But he's going to win. He has it down to a science. He really does. I will credit him in that front. It is the degree of difficulty is very high, and the degree of annoyance is even higher. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we just got a few off.
I just love that we got a few off. I just love that when we play, he thinks that it comes down to the wire. You can take a big man to the free throw line, and that's where they fold. No.
He is a big free thrower.
This is where I thrive. This is my environment.
Hey, I think I got a couple of them on some free throws in crunch time. There's nothing better than just getting to the mid range and then just finish it off with a free throw. Everything on the line. It's it's a special moment. But yeah, we had some great ass games. I'm not gonna lie. I brought the floaters out, left hand, right hand. They really didn't like those.
No shit.
Yeah, it was. The
best part is when Max is doing that.
Half-court floater.
Yeah, you start seeing everyone press, and I'm one of them. But with his teammates specifically, guys are throwing the ball off the wall and jumping midair 360, just trying to get something in because they don't want to shoot the bullshit that he's throwing out there either. So it's chaos across the board. But it was dope. It's fun I appreciate you, Max, for allowing us to be in there too with your teammates, bro. And just we had a hell of a time. We really did. So
big vibes.
Maybe it's a big statement. I don't know, but just with Mendoza getting picked number 1 overall. Felt like the team was like glue in there, D. In the gym, just felt like glue already.
Glue. Yes.
Big glue guys.
I love that. You love the glue.
Yes. Well, listen, let's kick it off. Let's jump into this real quick. We already kind of know your thoughts on Mendoza, Max, and you spoke highly of him already. But just for you, bro, with it being a number 1 overall pick as a quarterback, what do you think he needs to do when he comes to that locker room to whether that's gain the respect or get ready to play or whatever it is, but from a number 1 overall pick, what do you think that Mendoza's got to do when he comes into the building?
Yeah, what I think, and what helped me personally, just speaking from my experiences, you don't need a lot of words initially. You're a young guy. You got to earn that respect from the locker room, and that's by the work you put in. You know what I mean, and by your actions. So just being early in the building, being late to leave, being consistent, being the same guy every single day, and just being yourself. You know what I mean? Don't be a shell of yourself. Let your personality show. I think the faster you can get to the point where, you can have those real relationships and, you're in the locker room shooting the shit, talking about whatever, like those are the special moments that, makes you closer as a team. So like, Brogan, you were there this weekend, and just like the funny ass conversations between me and my teammates and shit talking and like, that's where you get close, you know what I mean? And that's, the special relationships you gotta have in that building to, be respected as a leader and as, the guy they can rely on. And it goes both ways. So, I think for him, just come in and just be himself. That's what I told him. Just be yourself, come in and do what you do. It's a whole nother game, coming to the NFL. It's the highest level. There's no other level higher. And you have to realize that, you're there for a reason. You can't let that be intimidating. It's easy to say, but harder to do. And you just got to be 100% bought in on the process because, your time. It's not on your timing. You know what I mean? You don't know when your name's going to be called. And that's one of the toughest things in this league. You know what I mean? I've seen it break a lot of people. A lot of people leave or, give up before it's, right before it happens, and end up tricking their own, opportunity off. And I've seen it too many times. And like, you guys know, with Fernando, he didn't have the easiest road. He started at Cal, and then he transferred. He wasn't considered the number one pick going into that, this past season, but he handled the adversity incredibly. He goes and wins every single game, wins a Natty, wins a Heisman, and now look at what it's done for his life. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? So, anytime you get an opportunity to go out there and just compete and just put your best foot forward, that's what it all comes down to, and that's where you earn respect from the guys. So, you guys, and I've talked to the fans, before about just, from a personal level. I want, we obviously do this show because we want the fans to know, but like the perfect example is like my rookie year when I came in, and I didn't know that I would have an opportunity week 4 to go in there and play basically every single down. I was playing, training camp, go in there, I start the first preseason game, I break my hand, and now I got to sit the whole preseason. So mentally it's killing, it's killing me. I want to be out there with the guys, do the thing, but I couldn't. Then you go into the season, my first 3 games in the league, I'm playing like first and second down, rotating in and out, playing maybe 20 snaps a game. And I was struggling, bro. Like that last game playing against Minnesota, which is week 3, like it was one of the worst games I've ever played. And I just mentally was at the lowest of lows. But I remember going into that practice week the next week, and I was, I had to make a decision of like, okay, am I going to, like, I was literally questioning like if I could play in this league or not. And I went in there and just attacked practice the same way I always do, and maybe even more intensity if I can even create that. And I just went hard as hell and just kept finding ways to, try to figure it out. And going into that game, it was about 30 minutes before the game, Coach Buck, our D-line coach, walks in and tells me Benson's down. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and Benson's our third down rusher. He's like, Max, you're up on third downs. You're going. I'm like, what? And if I didn't prepare, if I didn't, go into that week with the same mindset to get better and just, not get down and be negative on myself, I just kept moving forward. If I would have done it the opposite way and felt bad for myself and took the foot off the gas, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I went to that Colts game and I balled out. I had my opportunity to go out there and just play and not had to be subbed in and out every other drive. I just went out there and balled out. And then the next week we go to London, I get a sack in my first game, and then I've been starting ever since. You know what I mean? So it's like, you never know when that time's going to come. And so for Fernando, you don't know if you're going to be the week 1 starter. You don't know if it's going to be week 8 when you come in. You never know. But ultimately, it's about the process and what you put into it, and the work never lies. And so for him, just coming in with the mindset that, yeah, you're coming here to be a big part of the change and move this thing forward, but it isn't on your timing. The only thing you can control is the things that require no talent, and that's the time you put in, the work you put in, the attention to detail. And from everything I've heard, he's one of those guys, and there's a reason why he's had the success in the collegiate level that he's had. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know him better and see how how he grows and operates on a daily basis, and it's going to be awesome.
Hell yeah, I think that's a dope point of view. So go ahead, D.
When I always love to kind of see these things come to fruition, right? Last year, Ashton gets drafted, and you consistently preached, like, be yourself is in leadership, right? Like, don't wait to lead is the words that you shared with Ashton, and that's something that he's said publicly that's helped shape his rookie year. When you look at someone like Fernando and his style of leadership and his personality, right? Like, what does that mean to somebody who's coming in as a rookie quarterback, number 1 overall draft pick, coming into, might not be the week 1 starter, but when you tell them, don't wait to lead or be yourself, what does that look like, and what do you hope to see from it?
Yeah, I think that just means, don't wait until it's too late. Like, I feel like guys wait until
or don't wait until week 8 if that's your first time starting to start leading.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you're not the starter, still carry yourself like you're the starter. You know what I mean? Even when I was a 3rd string guy, I carried myself like I was an all-pro, and I was not that at all at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But mentally, I always thought, I've always looked at myself as a great player, and I knew what I could be if I put the work in. So it's like, that's what it means, is just being, like you said, like Brogan just said, don't wait until you're out there on the field to go and lead. Like, even if you're the second string guy, if you're the third string guy, whatever it is, still be 100% yourself and let your personality show and just be authentic. I think that's the most important thing. And I didn't touch on that yet, but authenticity goes a long way. If you're, a funny guy or goofy guy, whatever, like, don't try to be the Mr. Serious and do all that and try to be something you're not. Like, if that's not you, don't be that. You know what I mean? Because guys can sense when somebody's trying to be something they're not. Just embrace who you are. You're going to grow and evolve and mature as the years go on, in this league and as a man and as a person on and off the field. Like, you have to learn yourself. And when you're that young, you know what I mean? You're still growing as a person and figuring out how to do it, your way. But I think the most important thing is just being authentic to yourself. I know a lot of guys struggle with that. And especially, when people are expecting you to be, a certain way or a certain position, like you have to act this way. I don't think, trying to force somebody to be something they're not ever works, in my opinion. I think you just got to be 100% yourself and clean it up along the way. It's the same thing as being a football player. Like, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, and I know I've been working on them ever since I got in the league. And if you continuously work on them, you're going to figure out what works best for you. And then you're able to do, to be a leader, and to be great is to bring others with you. That's the last step of being, great at what you do. And so, you got to earn the respect first. You got to earn, the respect as a man and as a player. And then once you continue to evolve and grow and figure yourself out, you start bringing others with you. And that's, really the recipe for, greatness, and consistency is everything. You can't be that on Monday and Wednesday and then not really on Thursday and Friday. You got to do it every single day, all year round, and it never stops. And as crazy as that sounds to most people, they're like, damn, you got to do it all the time. And even after you get, your contract, or even after the season ends, like, you don't go out and just start eating whatever you want. Like, no, like, you guys know, like, it takes everything all the time, because the clock is ticking, you know what I mean? And it's not on your side. It's the one thing you can't control is time. And, so yeah, I think that's just the main thing, just being yourself, authentic, and just putting the work first.
I love the way that you said authenticity, because that's kind of what I was looking for. If you look at a cookie cutter leader, like what you think a franchise or a locker room wants, like, that's not necessarily anybody. Once you're inside on the locker room or on the team, that's not anybody that's a true leader on the team, right? You are not a cookie cutter leader. If you would conform to what you would think the status quo is, you wouldn't be who you are today.
It's not a one size fits all.
Exactly. If Fernando Mendoza was like, once he started getting the notoriety and the popularity, everybody's like, can he lead a team, an NFL team of men? But then you see him and he goes out and he goes on the run. He goes and he beats Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, 13-10. I mean, that's where I'm all in, right? And then can that transition? The only way it transitions if you continue to be who you are. So I'm glad that is the message that you're preaching. Ashton Genty doesn't need to be you. He needs to be him.
Facts. 100%. And I think you made a great point, bro. Like, be who you are. Like, if you're a little bit of like a corny guy, be that. If you're a loud outgoing guy, be that, whatever that may be, because when shit does hit the fan, to your point, Max, it's going to come out. The true you will come out, whether you've been masking it for X amount of time or however many weeks. Plus, I think it's super cliche, obviously, but like, to the point of trying to get to be the starter for Mendoza in this situation, like, I remember my whole life, and you guys probably heard it too, but it's like, dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have, right? And like, technically going in right now, he's going to be backing up, but he wants to be the starter. So doing those things and having guys look at him and say, he's ready. He's ready. You're like, as soon as you have people questioning if you're ready or not, you never want that. And honestly, I don't think that's anything you have to worry about with Mendoza. I love the phone call between Spy Tech and him. And it was very, hey, and with Coach Kubiak, it was like, hey, you're going to come in here. We need you to work, like, and be in humbly. And I think all those things kind of are in his DNA. So that's really refreshing. And it's going to be cool to see with Mendoza. And then to the point that Darian brought into the chat the other day, he's bilingual. He's out there speaking Spanish. Condor Cartel is going to be fucking rabid for that. It's an interesting time, man. It's an awesome time. And on top of it, you guys had an unbelievable draft. And I want to get into this a little bit. Were you surprised at all? It seems like it was very defense heavy in the draft, which A lot of people are ranking you guys to have one of the better drafts out of anybody in the league right now. So obviously it's a big applause to the front office and everybody else. Yeah. At the Raiders, but just your thoughts on kind of all the pieces you guys picked up.
Yeah, no doubt. There's I think when you look at the defensive side and how many guys we got, I think depth has been something that it seemed like we were focused on. You know what I mean? Bringing more more depth to our defensive side of the ball, and that's something that when you have turnover a lot, which we've had. You struggle to have depth because new coaches come in and they want their certain guys, or they want to have guys that they drafted and things like that. So, on the defense side of the ball, I feel like we've had a lot of turnover over the years. Like we haven't had the same, green dot guy for more than 2 years straight since I've been here. So that's important. You know what I mean? You bring in guys like Quay and N'Kobe to come in and be green, guys that are leading and, calling the defense and things like that. You got to have consistency, and that's not just with the players, it's front office as well. You know what I mean? When it's constant change and constant turnover, it's impossible to have anything stable and consistent. So I think that's what they're trying to build and trying to grow. And, it seems like that's kind of the direction we're going in. So we picked up, like you said, we got both those DBs from Arizona. We got the corner from Tennessee, who's, a really highly rated guy. He had some, bad injury, but he also has been working his ass off from what I've heard and what he's told me in our conversation. And he's, really excited to come here. There's a lot of different pieces that are coming in. You got a guy from Auburn, pass rusher. He was screaming in the phone when I called him.
Fresh out of the pool.
Fired up. Yeah, fresh out the pool. And he was, super excited and, couldn't wait to, get to work and the whole nine. So yeah, when you have that type of outlook on what we're trying to build and, look at, we need to build this thing for the long term. I think that's what, the vision is. So, like you said, like the draft is, one thing, but it's what you do when you get here. So a lot of guys have to come in and prove themselves and earn the right to, play on the field and earn reps. And that's what, this time of the year is for. So, it's exciting, more than anything. And obviously in a draft that you get to get your, future quarterback or current and, future quarterback, that's a major deal. This is a quarterback driven league. We've talked about it all the time. The highest paid guys are quarterbacks, and then it's the guys who take down quarterbacks and the guys that protect the quarterbacks and the guys that catch from the quarterback. Those are all the highest paid people. So
we're such a good friend,
it just lives in that ecosystem.
It just lives in that. And, on the Rush, we're going to talk about the business side too, because that's just the reality. A lot of people aren't going to talk about it, but it's the truth of what it is. You know what I mean? And, the guy that has the ball in his hand the whole game is the most important player on that team. And that's, being a pass rusher, that's why it's such a big, incredible position, is because if you can put their leader in the dirt, it fucks up everything they got going on, on their side. So, it was a really good draft, and I feel like in this offseason in general, just from free agency to the draft, I think they've done a hell of a job, and the future's bright. But it's not about winning in the offseason; it's about winning when the games actually start, and we got a lot of work to do until then.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? As you know, crypto's buzzing right now, and when I want more Bitcoin, Solana, or anything else, I open MoonPay first. It works with Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, your bank, credit cards. They've been around since 2019. Millions of people use them, and they've built some awesome partnerships across the crypto world. I'll repeat, only one MoonPay account is all you need to explore the entire ecosystem. But here, listen in closely, guys. Here's a MoonPay partner you should know about: BitPay. If MoonPay is how you buy crypto, BitPay is how you spend it. They've been around since 2011, which in crypto years makes them ancient. And they've quietly built the best bridge between your wallet and your real life. We're talking bill pay, mortgages, credit cards, car payments, student loans, all paid directly from your crypto wallet. No bank account needed. And they just expanded to support over 100 different coins and tokens. So whatever you're holding, BitPay probably works with it. The MoonPay to BitPay pipeline is honestly kind of perfect. Buy it with MoonPay, spend it with BitPay. But as always, do your own research. Crypto is volatile and you could lose your investment. MoonPay facilitates your transactions. It is not financial advice. Trade responsibly, Condor Cartel. Back to the show.
Max, I know you've talked about it and you had a phone call with all of the new teammates, but Brogan, being there, was there anybody? There's 10 picks, right, for the Raiders. Is there anybody, obviously outside of Mendoza, that jumped out? There was one that I'm fired up about.
Yeah.
Is there one for you that you like the most?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because it leads right into what I was just going to ask Max. But that's Trey Stooks. They got the safety from Arizona. Before this pick went on, hopefully I'm able to say this, but Max looked at me and he's like, I think we're going to get this kid from Arizona, the safety. And I'm like, okay. He's like, some say he's the best safety in the class and even over Caleb Downs, right? So he's a ball hawk. After watching some of his tapes afterwards, you're like, oh shit, this dude makes freaky plays. He covers a lot of ground. Ball hawk, and especially at that position, normally they're shipped there because they can't catch the rock, right? We all know that running joke, right, with the DBs. But I'm impressed by what I've seen, and that's kind of what I wanted to ask Max was, since we did talk about Mendoza, and yeah, that is on the other side of the ball, but now you got a guy who's in the secondary playing behind you, and obviously he has a lot of upside to him. What would be the first thing for you, Max, that you think will get him on the field and playing at a high level without thinking and to make an impact? Because the longer you guys can cover, the more time you guys have up front to go eat and get some more sacks and just disrupt the game.
Yeah, 100%. I think the most important thing, especially for any young guy, is just knowing your job. I think it's the most thing, getting your playbook and understand what you need to do. You know what I mean? It's if you're out there and hesitant or questioning, oh, what are we doing in this play? Or about, thinking before the snap, shit, what do I got? You're already 10 steps behind. You know what I mean? That's something that, especially with the D line, like the, young guys that come in and stuff, that's a big message I, always share with them is like, listen, get in your damn playbook and know what you need to do. And as a vet, you know what I mean? I've been in so many damn defenses that like, you know what I mean? And I'm learning another one right now, being with Robbie, this is obviously, it's different. But I've seen it all, and I've ran every stunt you could run, every game you could run, every front I've seen from 5-man to 4-man to 3-man, the whole.
Where
the whole
this would
nine.
be their first time probably doing a lot of it.
No, for sure. So like when you're a young guy coming in, you got to be able to know your shit and not be somebody that you're like, damn, does he know what he's doing? You got to be a young guy that's mature enough to come in there and be like, no, we don't have to worry about him. And prime example, when we have this new safety coming in, or two new safeties actually come from the same damn place.
It's crazy.
Just crazy. The guy that I always think of is Trayvon Morig. And he came in, come from TCU as a second-round pick, rangy, fast, could tackle. He's all over the field, ball hawk. Guy that I miss for sure. Love that dude. He's a great teammate. But from day one, you know what I mean? He came in as a safety, and he started from day one. He knew his job. He didn't say much. He just went out there and imposed his will on the field, and he earned the respect from all the guys. And over time, he became more vocal. He started talking his shit. He was being himself. He was like, I remember being, out there on the field as I'm a vet and he's a rookie, and he would be always, obviously you're a safety, so he sees everything that's going on. And every time I make a play, he would be the first guy there hyping me up and be like, oh shit, okay, Mac. And I was like, okay, Rook, like I love that energy. You know what I mean? You want guys that come in and just have that confidence to like, I know what I'm doing, you know what I mean? And I'm a part of this, not just, all right, I'm just here to fit in because I got drafted here and I need to do my job and not mess up. Like, no, like when you're on the field, you're out there to go make a difference. And that's my biggest advice to those young guys. Come in, get in that playbook, know exactly what the hell you need to do so you can go out there and play fast. And like you said, all the confidence comes from preparation. And when you know what to do and you're confident in your job, it becomes a lot easier. So
Amen.
Yeah, for sure.
Amen. That'll be the biggest thing too. Oh, sorry, D.
No, you're fine. I was going to say that McCoy from Tennessee.
I was just going to ask you who you're. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited about this guy because we all know we love a good comeback story, but the ability, like this guy, tore his ACL, didn't play all last year, still gets drafted in the 4th round, and then comes out to his pro day and runs a 4.38. Like, if he did not get hurt, this guy would have been arguably an early 1st-round pick without giving a placement. So with you guys being able to grab him in the 4th round, I mean, that has to give you, again, the utmost confidence of there is beef in that secondary layer. And that's going to allow you that much Oh yeah, that much more time to get to the quarterback. So everybody thinks it's real shiny and great to get defensive linemen, but
Mhm.
if you can create that umbrella, it makes your job and your teammates and that front seven's job that much easier to get home. And that's what
Yeah.
that's what fills the seats on defense.
Yeah. And dude,
100%.
there's a lot of guys you could pick from, honestly, in this draft. Like Malik Benson from Oregon is a dog. Like, great
Yeah.
receiver. I like that, especially like a later round guy. I mean, that's a good need that they picked up. I also love Mike Washington from Arkansas, big
Yeah.
back. That's a great. We were just talking about it this weekend. I was like, remember I was asking him, like, who else is also on the roster behind Genty, and I think they
Yeah.
did, especially the running back they snagged from Indiana, who was undrafted, rushed over
Mhm.
1,000 yards. So once again, kudos to them and what they did on draft weekend. So it's going to be
Fuck.
exciting to watch everyone strap
I
up and
love
get
football.
back out there. Me too.
It's the
Fucking A.
best.
It's
Like
It's the
fucking
golf,
best.
golf's a quick fix here, and everybody bitches about. But my God, I love football. It's April, and we're getting a fix of the draft, and we're
Mhm.
already. It feels like we are already in training camp, getting ready to talk about preseason week 1. So
For
Amen.
we're
real,
getting
man.
closer. We're closer than we are further away. That's
Yep.
the one positive we'll take away from this, and
Yeah.
we
My
feel
pants
very
are
bullish
growing.
going into this. What's growing?
My shorts.
Oh, okay, yeah, losing
Yeah.
space. Good for you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hey, but you know who? Hey, shorts are growing, but temperatures are rising, and you know whose temperature was rising on draft night to kind of flow it all here together. Hopefully, Ty Simpson being snagged at the Rams. Max, just so I don't sound like LeBron James. I'm like, yeah, I called that. I called that. Did I fucking call that?
No, he did. He did call it.
It's a
I'll give
Bama
Brogan his
quarterback.
credit. It
Bam-
made sense. Listen, I get it. People are gonna have their opinions. I think if you question what the Rams do as far as the front office, I think you're crazy to think that because of the success they've had drafting players and getting guys in free agency, and just the success they've had on the field. You know what I mean? They've won a Super Bowl. Last couple of years, they've been really close. And they obviously have a plan. And Stafford, we don't know how long he's going to be playing. How much longer he's going to be playing. And if you love a guy like Ty Simpson that much and believe he's going to be the next guy, I think it's genius to get a guy that can sit behind one of the best quarterbacks of all time and learn from him for a year or two. So I understand the play there. I know some people have their thoughts on it, but I think it's great, to have a quarterback, like that he doesn't have to play right away, and he gets to learn from Sean McVay, arguably one of the best play callers in the league and one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So it makes total sense to me, and you think they're going to put him in a good position once it's time, and you know what Sean McVay does with quarterbacks, so. I think it makes sense. It might, to some people, they think they took him a little too high. But if that's your future franchise quarterback, then yeah, it might seem high right now. But if he ends up being the guy, then it's a great pick. So ultimately, time will tell, and we'll see what happens with the Rams and what they got moving forward. But right now, I mean, you can't really make a judgment on it until we, see how it all plays out.
Somebody was definitely probably going to move up and grab him. That's also, they probably knew that. They probably either had a hunch or it was discussed through the grapevine, I'm assuming. And we've seen the recipe how many times? Look at Green Bay. They did it twice. They pulled Aaron while Brett was there, and then they did it with Aaron with Jordan Love. There's a recipe for it. And you have to, that's why I think the reaction of Sean McVay got blown up a little overboard, because they are in lockstep together. Him, the front office, they're 100% in lockstep. But as a head coach, he's trying to get guys right now. He's trying to win a Super Bowl right now. They've been close, right? And it's the front office's job to look at the future of the organization at the same token, right? So, and come on, let's just call it what it is. He's boys with Staffy. So he probably just doesn't want anything to get out, like, could be misconstrued or feel like he's being ran out of the building, which we all know. You're fresh off an MVP. You're probably good for a little while. And he looks like he could play for a little while. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting. And I like the pick too.
That reaction from McVay just tells me, one, how long has Dan Orlovsky got shit about talking about the quarterback situation in this draft and how high, but the reaction from McVay tells me that the Rams front office firmly believes that somebody else was going to take him. They didn't expect to have him available when they did, or else they
Yeah.
would have been on the same page. He would have had the conversation with Stafford, which he came out and he talked about at length. Like, that's what it was. Like, he didn't want to mourn someone who's not dead yet, is essentially how he phrased it. So
Yeah.
they thought that he was going to go higher than he did, which again is a testament to what I know. He got shit on a lot, but what Orlovsky was saying, like, there's going to be 2 quarterbacks taken in that first round.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Orlovsky, he got a lot of heat for his Ty Simpson
lot.
love, but
I'm happy for him.
Orlovsky knows what
Same.
he's talking about. He
Oh,
really
yeah.
does. I mean, a lot of people got, a lot to say, and obviously, I'm not going to agree with everything he says either, but that just comes with, the
of
territory. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I mean, he sees a lot in him. There's a lot of other people that see a lot in him as well. So, here at the Rush, we wish him the best.
Wish him the best.
Unless
Go
we're playing
roll
him.
Tide.
So,
Yeah, facts. And plus, who's breaking down quarterbacks as well as Dan Orlovsky? Unless you can point someone in that direction in that world that's kind of breaking it down.
That can throw a spiral.
Who
That's
can?
a prerequisite. That's a
John
prerequisite. If you're going to break down a quarterback,
John Gruden's
Yeah.
my number one.
100%.
if you can break down a quarterback, you got to be able to throw a
Yeah.
spiral. That's like,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
That's my free rep.
He's by far for sure up there, just like on a day-to-day consistent basis. It's like this guy kind of he's probably gonna know what he's talking about. He's played over a decade in the NFL. Whether that was holding the clipboard or not, he still had to throw the ball in practice. All right,
and
so
got
he kinda,
paid.
yeah, and sat alongside a lot of great players, obviously. But another thing, really quick, around the NFL before we move on. Well, 2 things. One, Carson Beck, 3rd quarterback taken off. I feel like I got a lot of heat during the season when I said someone's going to snag him because he has all these traits. He's played a lot of ball, blah, blah, blah. Now, I know it was probably worrisome that people came out that he's like a loner personality or whatever. Don't even know what that means. Don't know what you could take from something like that. But were you boys shocked to see that he was the 3rd guy off the board? I think that's who was going to take Ty Simpson, to be honest with you, in the first at like the 26th pick. So I think that could be maybe what happened.
What did he end up going, like 60 something?
I think he was the first pick in the. Let me see here.
Pull that up.
Let's pull that up. He was drafted 3rd round, 65th overall, first pick of the 3rd round.
65th. Yeah.
Yep. So,
Interesting.
Kind of crazy too, to honestly, that Garrett Nussmeier went so I think he was the last quarterback taken. You had a South Dakota quarterback go. You had Drew Aller go to Pittsburgh. Can we talk about that really quick?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Why?
They took him 3rd round.
As a Cleveland boy, his family was fucking pissed. Like, his family is Cleveland Browns season ticket holders. Their dog's named after Browns' famous tight end.
Oh,
and this man had to sit there.
We got to change the dog's name.
Bro, they're Cleveland through and through. And they had to sit there and put that hat on. It was all time.
That's actually incredible. And then
That's the
what's
luck.
his name? Taylor Green went to the Browns as well, which is interesting. I think he's a sleeper talent. He has a lot of development. Talent. But that's another guy that's a sleeper pick.
4.3, 6.
You don't know what he's gonna be. You know what I mean? He's a project for sure, but he played a lot of really good ball. He played in the SEC for multiple years, won a lot of games, and you talk about overall talent. He's definitely got probably, you talk about strictly size, athleticism, the way he could throw the ball. Like he's
Terrell Pryor,
bro. I love that pick. I do love that pick.
He's a weapon, bro.
And that's just them. That's them righting the wrong of Dylan Gabriel. Like, I'm sorry to point,
but they're not trading him, so that's weird.
I know, but that's them letting them fight it out. But that's a quarterback that I think fits the Browns offense better than what they drafted last year. That's all I'm saying. No slight at him, but this guy can compete.
What do you think's going to happen? Who do you think's going to be the starter week 1, Darian, in Cleveland?
You want this?
Yep, I do too.
Let's do this. All right. I truly do believe it'll be Shedeur. I think that Shedeur is going to roll out and he's going to get the starting job. I think after a few weeks, there's going to be learning pains and growing pains with the new offense. I think the Haslams are going to come knocking and crying because they want Deshaun to play. I think Deshaun's going to come in and they're going to try and force the hand because the Haslams even came out and said that they would extend him if he plays decently. So, So it's I think that there's going to be a phone call at some point to get Deshaun to play early in the season. But the Browns have built up the roster, and I think they drafted extremely well to be able to put a team out there that's respectable. But I think
That's
Shedeur
interesting.
gets the nod.
I think Shedeur should get the nod. I think he deserves it at this point. I really do.
Yeah.
I think they rolled Deshaun Watson out week 1 though. 100%.
The only reason I think is because Todd Monken, like has history with Shedeur, knows Shedeur, understands his
Shedeur
play
spent
style.
the offseason there.
Exactly. He's the only one that's been in the building for the off season, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that they're going to continue to roll the momentum, and he's got a lot of synergies with the guys that are playing. And we saw what happened after Deshaun didn't play for fucking 2 years and then tried to play, and then he gets hurt. He didn't play another year.
But I will say this though, I think it's going to be interesting because that was all under Stefanski. That's all heavy play action. That's not his world. So I feel like
correct.
We'll see because he's coming from Lamar. And if you're going to talk about who can move around better, it's Deshaun Watson or it's Taylor Green, which he's not going to probably be ready at that point. But there's a lot of packages with those two guys specifically from what Monken's ran, I feel like in the past over in Baltimore with Lamar, where you could be like, ooh. Or you just say, fuck it, let's really spice it up. And Dylan Gabriel goes out there week 1.
Yeah, let me puke on my shoes. The only reason that I would say Deshaun goes out there is if you expect to have not one of the better defenses in the NFL and you go down probably, 3-4 touchdowns in every game and you find DeAndre Hopkins somehow. That's where Deshaun Watson's good because that's where he made his money in Texas. Yeah. So,
well, here's the other one. I got one more for you guys.
Keep it here.
One more, and then we can move off the draft into the NBA playoffs because we know a lot of hearts are breaking and a lot of spirits are high in this group. So one thing I got to bring up, you guys said Pavia didn't get picked up. That's not true. It's not true. Pavia did get picked up based on your picture you sent us, Darian. Are you do you want to share that? We can send it in here, but are you guys shocked?
Keep that to ourselves.
Are we shocked are we shocked that Pavia went undrafted, more so that he didn't get scooped up by any teams? Do you feel like he's worthy of it? He was a Heisman finalist.
I think the mixture of, his size, he's a smaller guy. Like he's like 5'9", which is not hardly
It's crazy. They list him 6 foot at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's just wild. But he's a smaller guy. He's undersized, and obviously he's had his fair share of stuff off the field. You know what I mean? That hasn't helped his cause, from the Heisman thing to, quarterback being out at the bars and doing all stuff like that. Like NFL teams hate that stuff. And he, when you have maturity issues, in the view, the view of the NFL, and then you have, the size, disadvantage as well. I think it just makes a lot of sense why he didn't get drafted. Me personally, I do think he's a dog. I think he could play the game at a high level. He was a Heisman finalist for a reason. But I do think it's a wake-up call. You know what I mean? I really do root for him. I wish him the best. I wanted to see him have success. But I think it's just a reality check of what this league is like, especially at that quarterback position. Like they want somebody that's polished and somebody that's going to come in and do things a certain way. And, we've seen it with Johnny Football. We've seen it with, multiple guys, even with Shedeur dropping to the 5th round. People had their concerns about him off the field and things like that and his personality and whether it's right or wrong, playing that position, especially quarterback, what comes with that. So, yeah, I wish him the best. We'll see what happens. I don't even think he's signed yet, which is kind of wild. So I'm assuming he'll probably get a tryout from some team here coming up in the next couple of weeks. But, yeah, bro, it's a cutthroat business. And quarterback is one of those positions where there's only 32 of them that are going to be playing. You know what I mean? And a couple guys will get, banged up from time to time. You'll have a backup play. But quarterback's one of those positions you're not subbing in, you're not subbing out. And typically – when you're talking about a quarterback room, you like to have a veteran presence. That's the backup. You know what I mean? Or if you don't have that, it's a young guy that, you can trust and build up and you see a future of him being a guy. But it's tough, man. The talent pool is huge. And, the numbers of, spots are very limited. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm not extremely surprised, to be honest. But I do respect him as a player. I think he's a good player and plays really hard and loves the game and just all the other stuff that comes with it. So we'll see what happens here in the next couple weeks.
The only thing that I would say to this is, and this is no disrespect to any player, but the NFL does not need anybody. Like, that's
Mhm.
just the reality. They do not. They will find somebody who will fit their system, that will has similar tangible skill sets. Like, they don't need anybody. And in last year, I think that was a big lesson with Shador. This year, I think it was a big lesson with Pavia. Like, at some point, these guys who are in these positions have to start taking notice of that. You got to go from being in college, and I know NIL, you're the man, you go to the Heisman, all of those things, but it has to be the hardest reset of your life after that last snap of college football is done, to then going and transitioning to the NFL, because it's going to continue to happen. Like, if you are not preparing for a job interview, then you're not going to be as highly touted as you want. Like, skills and talent doesn't take you to where it used to in the previous years of your career.
For sure.
Mhm.
And to you guys' point too, he would have been a backup, right? And when there's just too much noise when you're a backup and you have to be servicing, because that's really what you are doing in that room, is you're servicing the starting quarterback in every facet, whether that's watching film, what do you see, helping him out when he asks, or go catch the ball for me. What it literally go across that entire line of servicing the starter. And if you don't kind of have that in your personality, like, it's okay to be like, no, my goal is to be a starter. I want to start in this league. I think I'm good enough. That's good. But like when they can't really tell if you're going to be able to be a good teammate if you're not the starter, not saying that he's not that, just speaking in general, like that's where I feel like then you're like, is it worth the headache, or is it worth, what might arise or might come out of this? So it'll be interesting. Let's see if he gets picked up here shortly. But let's move to the playoffs. We'll skim through pretty quickly here because I know we're pressing on time. Pistons down 2-1 in the series with the Magic. Lakers up 3-0. Could go for that sweep tonight. By the time this goes out, we'll have our answer. Cavs, I wrote down in the script, was 3-1, but obviously we now know it's 2-2. We're going to come to that. It could be. They were up 10 at that point, or 8, and I was just like, yeah, it looks good. And then T-Wolves up 3-1 against the Nuggets. You got the Thunder clapping the Suns. Suns don't even belong. And then the Knicks and Hawks are tied 2-2. And then obviously you got the Spurs Blazers playing. I'm going to kick it to you two. Cavs guy, Harden Cavs. How are we feeling in a 2-2 when I personally thought this could be a gentleman's sweep at worst case scenario?
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's...
And this is your true emotion. This is fresh off the game.
Yeah, this is fresh off the game. So I'm low-key coming into this damn podcast like, motherfucker. They should have won this game. But ultimately, it's 2-2. We dominated at home, handled them. They made some adjustments, played really well game 3. This game was very winnable, which is disappointing because you have a big, there were some ups and downs back and forth. And then in the fourth quarter, it seemed like, okay, boom, Harden hits the 3. And then he gets to the line, gets the free throws, and Mitchell hits a big couple shots. And you're like, okay, this is about to be Harden Mitchell time, take over. But they just couldn't close them out. You know what I mean? It's all the little things. I think that has hurt them the last 2 games. And just taking care of the ball. Harden was incredible taking care of the ball the first couple games. Last 2 games, he turned the ball over like 15 times, which just can't happen. So they're sending a lot more heat at him. They're doubling him. They're face guarding him for 94 feet. But they do have to go into Cleveland this game 5 with a plan, to counter that. You know what I mean? So, I think ultimately this game today was ugly as fuck, but Toronto found a way to finish, and that's what it comes down to, is closing out games. And we had the lead, had it right in our hands and let it slip away. And, you can't look back. It's over with. You go back, get back to the drawing board, and they got a couple extra days of rest, and they go back to Cleveland. So they got to come out game 5 ready to rock and get and handle business. And I fully expect them to do that. Mitchell, again, he's had his struggles the last 2 games really bad. He's been shooting really inefficient. He was 6 of 24 today. Game before, I think he shot in the 30s again, 30%. So not good enough. Harden and him need need to step up and start taking over, and I fully expect them to do that. So the role players got to step up as well. You know what I mean? Evan Mobley can't have 8 points on 4 of 11. Jared Allen can't be 2 of 6 with 5 points, or 3 points or whatever he had. It can't happen. You know what I mean? They have the size advantage. They need to play better complementary basketball, and I think just take care of the ball, and they'll be fine. It's good though. I do like that they're getting a challenge, but they need to step up to the challenge at the same time. You know what I mean?
For
It's
sure.
good to get a young, hungry team like them with a lot of young stars, and get a challenge early because going if they handle business, which I fully expect, you're going to go into a series versus either Orlando or Detroit, who's also going to be playing really hard nosed defense and playing super hard. So
Yeah.
it's good. I think you look at it as a blessing in disguise and go handle these next 2 games and win a 6. That's what I'd see happening.
I wonder if you could almost say, do you feel like the late addition of Harden is just them right now almost, and they didn't all play together a whole lot before the end of the regular season? Do you feel like part of it too is them also still trying to figure that out? Or do you feel like it's just a tough series? It is hard in I almost called it LeBronto because that's what it is. But in Toronto, you forget how wild it really is there. Like you almost feel like that whole country is against you at one point. Like it's like them versus the United States in hoops. Yeah, no, probably more than half their team is either American or overseas. But it's a crazy place to play. But I didn't know, maybe they're trying to gather the pieces, because I got to say this. I said it before we got on the show. I would like to see Harden with the ball at the end of the game. Let him make the decision. I'm not saying he's got to shoot it. Let's go high pick and roll, and then you got Donovan spotting up, or you kick it to him, then he makes then he goes slashing to the rim and he can make a play, right? But I just feel like he has the experience. He's been in these moments more than anyone, and Donovan has had big playoff games throughout the years, no doubt about it. But it's just a different team, a different identity. So I'm curious to see moving forward if they are in that situation, which I'm sure they will be at some point, kind of how if that's different or not.
Yeah, we'll see. They got to step up. I think both of them, like you said, it comes down to the end of the games and closing out. So they'll be okay. I fully expect them to bounce back. But I do like at the end of the game, like Harden's got to assert himself. He's got to be more aggressive too. You know what I mean? Like he can't be, even if Mitchell has a couple buckets, he can't just be like, all right, Mitchell, go and run the offense, like, and just go ISO. Like, no, like NBA playoffs is not like that. Like you got to be able to adjust and make adjustments. And I think that's what I think they're definitely going to do that in game 5.
Facts. And then the other one I'll bring up because I have to, because I was at your house when this went down, but LeBron, let me ask this question. Gets the steal, bangs a 3, goes to overtime, 41 years old, 29, 13, and 6. That's a terrible stat line to some people, I guess. But I got to ask you, because to a hater, is LeBron low-key gaining so much more respect now more than ever, do you feel like, with his haters, so to speak, or even to the younger guys in the NBA now who might not really have seen LeBron do what he's doing, because he's almost turning the clock back on Father Time, and there's some shit he's doing now where I'm like, bro, you weren't even doing that last year in the playoffs, you know? So kind of just curious if you guys have any thoughts on that. And if not, there's no comment and he's left you guys speechless, I'll just gladly keep it moving for sure.
I keep it real. This is the thing. I'm an MJ guy, Kobe guy. You know that. I'm not. I didn't grow up a big LeBron fan, and everyone kind of knows the understanding. But I do respect the fuck out of him. I mean, he's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and him doing it at 41 is insane. It's not even. It's unreal. I think, LeBron is playing lights out, and I think he's more comfortable being in a role where he has the ball more. I think that's where you're seeing him play better in the playoffs this year compared to last. Luka has the ball every single play. So now him being able to step up and be the main guy that's where he's most comfortable. He's built a whole, literally arguably one of the best careers ever being that guy. So I think that is a big part of it. But just his confidence. I think when you have the ball and just be able to do your thing, you're just in a flow state. You know what I mean? You're not like, okay, maybe I'm gonna get the shot this possession. It's like, no, like the whole shit runs through me. And that's why I think he does his best. And on top of that, I think Houston, obviously Kevin Durant missing, I think gonna miss 3 out of
tonight too.
Yeah, he's missed like every game besides one. And the one game he played, he had 9 turnovers and struggled. and just that Houston team in general, you could just see the disconnect. I think we talked about it when you were here. They had like a game-winning block. Sengun came down. This is in the regular season towards the end, and he had this insane game-saving block, and literally like one person gave him a high five, and he just walked to the bench. Like it should have been a huge moment, and you could just tell there's a disconnect there as far as that team, whether it's the allegations. Whether it's a head coach or you got the burner account allegations and a lot of things, some of them are starting to kind of come out to the forefront, I feel like. And you could tell that team is not connected. And ultimately, on top of all that, they don't have a point guard.
No.
And you could tell their offense is like, when KD played, it was like everyone just get out of the way and KD go to work. And there's not a lot of shooting surrounding him. So it's just like, it's really ugly, to be honest, to watch at times. And Sengun struggled a lot the first couple games. And then last game, he was able to step up and played his ass off and played great. But it's like there's no consistency there, and there's no point guard that can put the thing together. So I just think they're just not a well put together team. They have talent, but they don't have a lot of shooting, and they have nobody to put it all together. And I think there's just a big disconnect in that locker room from my instinctual, just feeling watching them operate.
That's one thing we're for sure agreeing on in this series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it looks disconnected.
And to your point, Max, the high five that you're talking about Sengun, we saw the same thing, but instead of high five and Sengun, we saw one of the players go up and try to give Ime a high five, and he just fucking completely left him hanging.
Just walked by him. I think it was like Amen Thompson too, and I was like, he goes up, he goes to give him a high five, and then Ime just walked right by him. You're like, okay, there's something's not right there for sure. You could just see it.
Yep. And we'll leave it at that. I'm not going to slander anymore because, boy, would I love to, especially if you're in a series against my GOAT. Anything's on the table. All right, bro. And then last thing we got to touch on, obviously, we'll be going down to Miami this week. You guys already know the sponsor, Monster Energy, is bringing us down. We're doing a whole thing with them. Going to have some great guests. Just of now, we got Levante David. We got Deion Dawkins. We got Nyjah Houston. If any of you guys are into the whole skate world, I know we are not. I'll just be completely transparent. We aren't, but it's going to be a great opportunity for us. Just a lot of journalism, a lot of just picking another person's brain of what success looks like to them, because he is one of them dudes. He is one of the greatest at what he does. So, and then there's going to probably be another one or two tossed in there. So that's going to be awesome. But I'd be remiss without saying the boy Max D. I know you've had it blaring in your headphones in your car, maybe when you're rocking little baby Tatum to sleep. You got 2 a.m. in Vegas out there popping. Max, share with the people on what the fuck went into the drop, why the timing felt right. I know there's a lot of shit on the back end. And for all this, the last thing I got to put out there, because you won't do it because you're a great guy. But for all the people that have something to say about why is he dropping music or what this, can you just tell people that people do have hobbies? They enjoy doing other things. Darian likes to go on the boat and fish. He likes to go on the golf course. I like to golf as well.
I like hunting too.
You like to hunt. See, Darian is a man of fucking many hobbies, and I love that.
I like to hunt. So,
Max, can you just speak to the music? And I appreciate the cameo in the music video, brother. It's been awesome.
Come on now. You already know. Yeah, bro. Honestly, it's just a massive hobby I've had for a long time. I mean, it goes all the way back to high school. We were in the damn lunchroom, and me and my boys are just freestyling and bullshitting and making music. And me and my boy, you guys obviously know Nick. We used to make full-blown mixtapes when we were in high school. Then I went to college, and me and the boys would freestyle and make music and stuff like that. So you guys know, like, everywhere I go, I got music playing, and even in my house, in every room, I got freaking the surround sound for a reason. So it's just a massive hobby of mine. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like since I got sober, especially, like, you need to find different outlets to kind of get yourself, it's almost like therapy in a way. Like, you can just go in there and kind of vibe out and just talk to, get some shit off your chest, and also just like put yourself in a different mindset and a different level of focus. So for me, it's something I love. It's a passion of mine. And people are always going to have an opinion, and people are always going to say something. But I don't give a damn.
As long as they're downloading.
Yeah, I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? I like that the people tune in. I think something I've been wanting to drop for a while, and I've been teasing it low key for like a year at least. but it just felt like it was the right time. And, I was going to drop on Friday, but I didn't realize. I was talking to Mike G. Shout out to Mike G. We all know him very
Legend.
well.
Mike G,
He's the man.
legend.
He manages, Wayne and Thug
Bieber.
and Bieber. And, I mean, he's got, like, everybody. But he's a real good friend of ours and, one of the biggest music managers. He's, helped me behind the scenes. And I thought Friday meant, like, it's going to drop Friday night. But then I realized it's like, no, like a Friday drop is at 9 p.m. on Thursday because you're on the West Coast. So it drops at midnight everywhere else.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. So it's draft night. So I definitely
Mid-hoop game, I'm pretty sure you were uploading, correct?
I was literally the song was out when we were in the middle of our horse games and around the world. So yeah, it's kind of dope. I'm super excited about it. I'm glad that people get to hear that. You were with me in the studio when we recorded it too, and it was a whole vibe, and we were in there for hours. You know what I mean? Doing this song, and it was like the last one. I was like, I need one more song before we put the tape together. And that song is, ended up being arguably my favorite one. So got to drop the single. We did the music video and the whole nine. And I got a lot of music that's already recorded that we're going to be dropping here really soon and some visuals behind it as well. And I'm super, super fired up about it. So yeah, I love making my music, especially in the off season. I get a little bit more time on my hands. Obviously the work and football comes first, that never changes, but it's good to just go in there and kind of get away and go to a different place mentally. It's definitely dope. And also I don't want to forget about this either. We're going to be dropping a video on the pot or on the Rush page as well this week. Reshape Body Bar, business that I'm got ownership in that I, opened up with a real close friend of mine, Marty Cordova, former MLB guy, real good buddy of Dana's. We got close over the years and he's all into wellness, like myself, and Dana's whole crew, really got into wellness and cold plunge and those things. So we kind of made a decision and, kind of a game plan. And it's been in the works for about 2 years now. And we're opening up here in Summerlin as well. Here in the next few weeks, we kind of had a cold open. We're going to have some families, some friends first. But it is open somewhat right now, but we're going to do a big grand opening with me and Dana and all of us get a date together where we can all be there and do a big celebration. So really fired up about that. Reshape Body Bar. It's in Summerlin. It's an incredible business venture that I'm fired up about. And if you're all about wellness, take care of your body, saunas, cold plunges, lymphatic drainage, massage therapy, the whole nine, we got it there. We got the freaking float tanks in there. It's state-of-the-art facility. I got to see it fully done here last week, and it's freaking incredible. It's even greater than what I expected. So got a lot of things coming, but we know we're going to Florida, going to Miami to be exact. F1, going to have some incredible podcasts and do some big business out there. So we're really excited about it. And we're fired up here at the Rush. But we do also, I don't want to forget this, we do have some incredible, incredible guests coming. We were expecting to have a certain human being on this week, but some schedule conflicts. But in the next couple of weeks, he promised he will be coming on. So we're going to be doing that ASAP. So we got a lot of stuff coming, a lot of stuff cooking. And we appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in, liking, subscribing, commenting. Y'all go do that right now.
Yes.
These are my brothers. Like I said, Broken Roback, Darian Terrell. We're going to keep pushing the content, man. This is what we got. Shout out to Zen Water. You already know that. Get your Slate Milks. Get your Monster Energy. It's about to be just incredible
Wear your
vibes,
Ryoko
immaculate
Rain.
vibes. Ryoko, yeah, you see the brand too. And the shorts.
Those are my favorite ones.
I didn't even peep, but I'm double timing with my brand. So if you want to get some great streetwear, get some Ryoko Rain.
That's right.
Everyone talks about business. We're doing big business over here. So God is great. God is good. We love you guys. Keep tuning in. We love y'all at the Rush. This is what we do. We will be seeing y'all next week. We out of here. Boom.
Peace.
Peace.
I ain't the driver, the one in the back. Feeling like Crosby, I'm turned to the max. You with, he ain't talking about